Hey guys, and welcome to today's video where I am feeding each gecko a different insect. You can, if you're not familiar with different feeding insects leopard geckos can eat, you can sort of see how different geckos react to different things. Also the setup, so I will say there was a mix-up with my order and I got double the amount of crickets I intended. So it's pretty gross and busy in here. I think they've only been in here a week. If there's one thing you want to know about crickets is they do smell and they can be noisy. But today, Maui is the one getting crickets since there is a chirpy one in here and I want to get rid of it. So let's quickly pick out some crickets. What I usually do is if I see they've got wings, I tend to feed them off first because they're the ones that will chirp. Also, Maui, even though he's only like 5 and a bit months old now, he is on the regular size crickets that my adults get. Seems to be fine. So it's editor Rebecca here. Basically, I've just discovered that most of the feeding footage has terrible audio. Hello, look at his little nose. He has a darker bit at the tip of his nose. Basically, I recently got a new camera and a new external microphone, and I don't know why, but as soon as I moved the cameras to film the geckos, the audio just went weird. So I'm going to waffle on top of this footage and basically say what I was originally saying in the footage. So what I wanted to show you in this section with Maui is, obviously I'm letting Maui just chase after the food as like he usually would. In a lot of feeding videos you'll see me place the food in front of the geckos or tongue feed or hand feed, but I don't want this to encourage you to only do that, because really we should be getting our geckos to, you know, actually chase their food, hunt down their food, and that's what I would normally do. But as you can see from this footage with Maui, when I allow them to do that, you don't really see much action. So that's why in feeding videos you might see me hand feed or place the food in front of them, because you get better footage. But in general, when I'm feeding them, it's like this. It's like Maui, he will absolutely leap across the tank for a cricket. Maybe there's one climbing up the side, he'll leap at it, and that's what we really want to encourage. Next up we have Locus. Now I'm not going to take off this lid because they will jump out. That's one thing I found with Locus in comparison to crickets, they jump a lot higher. But I have found that they don't smell as much, they don't make any noise, and the gecko loves them. A downside is I don't think you get as many for your money. Like, I can go through these, if I fed these every day, it would cost me so much. So Minnie is getting the Locus, and with Minnie I do hand feed her because she does have an ID. She's got my finger. Minnie, could you? Okay, crunching down. Just really a waiting game with Minnie because, oh, okay, you're squeezing quite hard now, Minnie. Could you just let go? I'm definitely not a leopard gecko whisperer, am I? I've got a... Minnie, okay. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Here's your Locus. So as I was saying, she does have an eye defect, which affects her hunting. And so she can sometimes get me mixed up with food. Sometimes I will use tongs, but I just find it a bit easier to do it like this. Also, sometimes she thinks shadows are food like that. This happens with a lot of leopard geckos, to be fair. So we just need to bring... She's now going after shadows. Next up we have Marioworms. Now please only feed these occasionally as treats. Do not give your geckos Marioworms, superworms or giant mealworms as their main diet. I give them to my geckos maybe once every 2 weeks, and today Gizmo is getting some. Now Max, I usually give them 3 Marioworms, but Gizmo, for whatever reason, she eats 2 and then she walks off. She doesn't want a third, but we'll try. So let's quickly pick some out. So basically what I was originally explaining in this clip is that if you are using loose substrate and maybe you have a gecko with a bad aim, or you're slightly concerned with using loose substrate and you don't want them accidentally eating some, then it's a really good idea to put like slabs of slate amongst the loose substrate, like big enough that of course they wouldn't be able to accidentally ingest it, because this is a massive slate piece, but this can work well for like a flat feeding area, and that's what I'm using with Gizmo. Now, as I said, Gizmo does tend to only eat 2 Marioworms and then she's done. For whatever reason, after she's had 2, she usually runs off. I don't know why, but this always happens. Now, if you do accidentally spook your gecko does this, don't be too alarmed. The best thing you can do is really just leave your gecko to settle on their own. There's no point faffing around, trying to pick them up, try to check on them. It's usually they just get spooked and they need to calm down. Now, the final food on the menu are mealworms, and this is for Diego. Mealworms are quite popular because they are fairly easy to breed. They don't make a sound like the cricket right now. They're easy to look after, look at all of those. However, I wouldn't recommend feeding these every single day. As always, I think it's better to give them as part of a varied diet. Whilst I'm counting out the mealworms, I did just want to give a shout out to Reolink, because a while ago they sent me 2 cameras, an indoor one and an outdoor one. And the indoor one we use with our dog, so we can check on her at night, during the day if we pop out, but also that camera's really good for spying on the reptiles. So if you miss your geckos during the day or you just want to keep an eye on them, see what they get up to at night, you can, and I'd highly recommend this camera. You operate it on your app, and you can move the camera, you can talk through it, listen, record, take photos, watch it back. It's brilliant. But as I said, we also have a security one outside. That has been amazing, and we now have a second one from Reolink. So I did just want to give them a shout out because, I mean, we recommend these cameras to our neighbours as well, because we've caught like people doing criminal damage. The footage has been used to like identify these people. So these are really great cameras, and I'm really thankful that Reolink wanted to send me another one, so shout out to them. I will leave all the links below, but if you're looking for a camera either to spy on your geckos or to have a bit of extra security, please check out Reolink. Like in Gizmo's tank, Diego also has a feeding slab. It's got to the point now that he does come over to this area when he hears foods come in. He knows I usually sort of place the food in this side of the tank, and if it's something like a worm, or if I was feeding, I don't know, dubia roaches or something like that, something that would burrow, then I'll place it on the slab, because we don't want, it's so annoying when the insects try to hide. I understand, you know, I respect their wish to stay alive, but it really helps to have this kind of like big old slab in here. Also, what I have noticed is when we have particularly hot weather, that slab, because it's on the cool side and sometimes I have a fan on above it, it stays a little bit cooler, and I'll find Diego asleep on it most nights. It's really cute. But yeah, at the moment, all the other geckos apart from Maui are enjoying mealworms. I don't know what it is, but mealworms are the only ones I put in a food bowl for Maui, and he just ignores them. I've tried taking them out, but I think he's just got picky, and I think that's something to expect from leopard geckos. If you are getting one, and you only want to choose one feed insect to give them, you may run into issues, because leopard geckos will one day absolutely love like crickets, and the next day be like, no. So it's good to have a variety so you have backup, but I understand if you only have like one reptile, and suddenly you've got like 4 different colonies of different insects going on, it's a lot. So I get that. But I did recently try to give them calciworms again. None of them were interested. The calciworms kept escaping. I had black soldier flies everywhere. It was a mess, honestly. Like, I was just like, I do not want calciworms anymore. And they're a really healthy choice of food. So I don't know, it's just a shame they turn into black soldier flies. However, the leopard geckos will eat the black soldier flies, I have found out, so that's kind of cool. Also, if you have like crested geckos or chihuahuas or something that jumps around, they will also go after the black soldier flies, and my ants like them too. But yeah, I kind of wanted to show you this video. So 1, you get to see what different feeder insects you can give your gecko. 2, you get to see how they hunt. But also 3, just to emphasize that variety is key. And of course there are many other insects you can offer your leopard gecko. As I said, calci worms, there's hornworms, but they are illegal in the UK. Dubia roaches. My geckos will also eat fruit beetle grub, but only the small ones. I don't like giving them big ones because those big ones have some strong jaws on them. But there is a variety you can offer them, so don't limit yourself to crickets, locusts, mealworms and Marioworms. Feel free to explore different avenues. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you'd like to, you could support this channel on Patreon. It really does mean a lot. But thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.